In this video, we're going to be talking about the pairings that you pick when you decide to go into battle, and you decide which gods you try to enchant your heroes, and why that actually matters in this game, not only for perspective on the type of powers and divine powers that you are going to gain in addition with stats, but also because of the AI. Given that we are at the beginning stages of the game and we're trying to push through it here, so one of the things that I always tell some of the new players that I encounter is use your trials, use these adventures and trials to try to get you to progress, at least give you an idea of what to try to tackle in the game. Of course, you can deviate based on how much time you have in the day in trying to determine how much you want to farm or how much you want to get some of the materials that you're going to need to either craft equipment and level your heroes, level your gods. There's just so much to do, right? Especially when the gacha game at the beginning, that's essentially what you're doing. But one of the things that I'm trying to set up right now is really my farming compositions and my farming dungeons. And so one of the things that I can tell you right now is that, at least for me, even with the ability to have all these heroes that I selected to go with at the beginning, and this is my core that I'm working with right now. And as you can see, I do have other heroes that I have here that I am working on. Essentially, I'm just throwing them here in the pit and I'm letting them level up. And eventually, when they catch up, I will try to incorporate them into some type of composition. But right now, my main core is mostly humans, and so it plays an advantage and disadvantage depending on the gods that you have. But what I'm learning is that if you select a certain set of gods to go along with your heroes, the AI can get in the way, and it actually can hold you back in terms of your progression. Some of us, really would just prefer to hit auto and make sure that just things go, right? But there are some situations here with the AI in this game, and hopefully this is something that is being worked on, is that some gods take preferences, so they'll eat your MP as quickly as possible. So let me give you an example here with this level. So one of the things here with Dark Witch is that in other facets of the game that I had her in, where I'm actually using her, let's for example say, because we are so thrilled with all the other gods that we get. So let me just put, let me see here. Who can I add just for kicks and giggles? Because is he affiliated? He's not affiliated. So let me put him in. All right, so let's select him. Let's enchant it with him and see if this example goes. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to run this battle here. And so one of the things that I was noticing is that one of the things that was holding me back in letting this auto is that at times there are going to be some gods that have preference based on the AI to launch a particular skill. And so I was noticing with like Aphrodite, if somebody has very low HP, she will go first, or not even low HP. If she just loses, if somebody just loses a little bit of HP, she'll think right away, I want to heal that person. So she will jump over the other two gods, the ones that I really want to take their turn over, and so the MP has to reload. But because sometimes the charge is even quicker, then those are going to get jumped, especially if jumping my Thor and my Poseidon here, which is really the two that I want them to take their turns, because they are the ones that are going to do damage. So just look at this. So just because this god here jumped over the other two, these two never really got to take their turn, so everybody else was going. So you can see the run just failed. Now let me go ahead and put back the god that I actually had affiliated. And so what I decided to do in looking at how the game is actually working, the mechanic of the AI, is that I started to look at and started to learn what actually the gods have as a power and as a favor, right? Some of these powers consume MP, and then for some of the other gods, they do not. They're just behaving like passives. So let me go back to the god that I had on like Asura here. So Asura's power is a passive. Essentially, when we start killing enemies, R or the enchanted ally is going to get a boost in attack. So I decided that for this perk for Dark Witch, because she is one of my damage dealers and I want her to have a little bit more attack, then I am going to enchant her with this god over any of the other ones. So let me redo it again. Okay, now the key now is to have two gods now that just have passives on them, and that is going to be Zeus and Asura. Okay, so now let me play the battle with Asura now as being the one enchanted on Dark Witch. So what you're gonna notice now is that now Thor and Poseidon are gonna get a chance to take their turns because nobody's cutting in front of them. So as they take their turns, they're taking out all these summon units, the side units here along with the boss, doing the damage that we need. So it actually helps out at the end here. So as long as I can get the damage and I can get these gods to take their turns, I feel good about the run. You saw Thor there take his turn. So now, just because of that switch and pair ups, things are looking slightly better, right? So now the Poseidon's taking his turns when I need him to take his turns. Rhea's doing the healing. But the key here, let me see if Zeus or Poseidon can get one more turn. Which is really what I want them to do right now. There we go. Thank you. All right, now we get rid of the boss. We get rid of the little units. And now we have an auto run. So this is something that I'm still trying to learn from the game, exactly what the priorities are when the gods are taking their turns. And it looks, you know, the heroes are going to use their special skills when it is available to them. So that is kind of just a little bit of a mechanic in the game that I can give you a little bit of a hint, especially at the beginning stages of the game. Later on, we're going to have more opportunities to do a little bit more pair ups and trying to make sure that we can do more of this combinations, right? So we can optimize based on content. Now, one of the things that I have seen, if you are playing the game, is look at the patch notes or the news, I guess that would be, because there will eventually be an update here coming up. They're calling this their March update. And if you scroll a little bit here, you will see that one of the things that they're trying to do is that they're trying to add functionality to each one of the phases of this game, where we can actually designate which god will with our hero as we are building the roster for that particular facet of the game. So what I take it to mean is that if we come here to the Hall of Gods and we have our lineup, that whoever's affiliated with the god here will not carry over to another area of the game, will only be then you would have to then go to somewhere in here and then designate the roster however you want. So I think that is going to be a great quality of life improvement that we can forward to. The other thing that I would say, if anybody's watching, the developing team watching here, is that the other shortcut that you could have done is that when we are in the middle of the battle, that you just let us turn off. Other games let you turn off the special skills per se of a hero. So in here, if you would have the cards here, there would be like an on and off switch that we can click on, then that would then alleviate us having to pair it, and we actually get what we need from that specified god. So in this case, yes, I do have somebody that is giving me extra attack as we start killing units, but there are other things that possibly that I could have added to this hero from another god that then would have boosted those stats that we particular. So that might be another way, is just allow us to turn it off. That could actually even help us in terms of team building, and maybe even some of the heroes too. I mean, there's sometimes that we don't need specific ultimates, but for the heroes, I haven't seen it to be too much of a detriment as it is with gods right now. So that is kind of so as we look at this as a whole, that's kind of an idea of what I can give you in terms of to make sure that your progression doesn't get halted, especially if you're just autoing your runs. Do keep an eye on things in, like, especially here in the campaign here. Do keep an eye on things, because if you just click on auto and you fail, you got to go back and look exactly as to why it failed. So in this case here, for this particular boss, because this boss heals, right? Then what I would do here is that I actually took Freya out for this stage. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna use you for this one. I actually want my anti-heal, and so I was able to pull Isis from fusing a couple of the ancient here, these gods fragments. And we went ahead and we fused for mythical, and we got Isis. So Isis is actually an anti-healer. So in that regard, then if I wanted to farm that specifically, if let's say this is the furthest that I can go and farm it right now, then I would actually then switch it over to Isis, because I know that then she can block the anti-heal here, and then my units can then bring. So keep an eye on things like this. What do the bosses do? How you can then push on it and try to make sure you're not losing the auto battle because you just don't get the right pair ups going. So that'll do it for this one, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching. See you all next time on the next God's Raid video.